Hey guys, and welcome to FaithWorks Designs. I'm Faith, and today we're going to be redoing a video that I did previously. When we reached 5,000 subscribers, I did a little video, a live video, on how we did the little makeup cubes. And today I'm going to be redoing it so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to be giving you guys all of the measurements, how to cut everything out, and all of that in today's video. So in today's video we are doing the, I don't know, it can be a makeup cube, it can be a pencil cube, it can be a dice bowl. There's a lot of different ways that you could use this and it would still be kind of cool. So it's in this little cubicle shape, and then when you open it up, it just kind of flats out like a little bowl. Yes, I know, black lining again, sorry. Anyway, it has these little sides so that you can kind of put your stuff in here, and then you don't have to worry about things kind of rolling out or moving around. And that way it has a lot of purposes. It's a really functional thing for you to be able to use. I made it for my kids, and they put their kind of crayons and stuff in it when we're doing school, and it's just really nice that they're not rolling all over the ground. So use it for makeup, use it for pens, just use it. So let's get started. Alright, so the very first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get a 16 by 16 piece of fabric. It can be cotton woven, whatever it is that you would like to use. And then we're going to use this one-sided Pellon. I actually have the thing here. It's the Peltex one-sided fusible ultra firm stabilizer. So we're using a piece of that. It's also going to be 16 by 16. And then you are also going to need a 16 by 16 piece of lining fabric. I'm going to be using waterproof canvas. I would not recommend it if you're working on a domestic, because it's going to get thick when we go to put the little side tab things on. So I would get a piece of cotton and then just interface it. The first thing that you're going to do is on the Peltex side, we are going to measure up 4 inches from the bottom on one side, and then down 4 inches on the top. Then you're going to need to measure 4 inches in and 4 inches in, and this will give you kind of what you need to work with. You're also going to need to angle your corners, making sure that they're going in this direction so that you get your points that you need. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut out what we don't need for this pattern. So I am just going to make it, I'm just going to cut the edges off. Alright, and then I'm going to grab my scissors, and we're going to come in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut these 2 out. You're going to leave the other ones. Don't accidentally cut those out. So your top piece should look like this. You're also going to want to do that to your lining piece. Alright, so you've got everything all cut out. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to want to put this end and this end together, and just like that. And then you're going to want to make a middle notch. Either you can make a middle notch or you can make a little mark, but you need to know where the middle is. Do that on both of these ends. Then you're going to want to grab your 21-inch zipper tape, and you're also going to want to find the middle so that we can kind of put these together. You're also going to want to do this on your lining, because you'll need that to kind of line everything up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find that middle notch. We're going to put right side of zipper tape to the right side of your fabric, and then clip that together. Alright, and then we're just going to clip around this little corner. Now if you want, you can go ahead and clip that corner so that it'll lay flat, but I'm going to get it all straight first. And I'm just going to make a little notch right here in the corner, because I want it to lay nice and flat. Just like that. See how it kind of like smushes down? You can put another clip there if you want, it's up to you. But I'm just going to put those little notches there. You can pre-notch this before you clip the rest of your sides down, it's up to you, but that'll lay nice and flat now. You're going to want to do that on both sides. Alright, So now that both sides are nice and clipped together, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to base stitch 1/8 of an inch just around the zippers, making sure they're not going to move when I go to put the lining on. Alright, so I have got my main piece all base stitched with the zipper on there so that I don't have to worry about messing with it or fighting with it when I'm trying to do my lining. Now you're going to get your lining and you're going to put right sides together. We're going to start at those top notches and kind of clip around. We're only clipping where we put our zipper. You're not going to be sewing the rest of the sides or anything like that. You're just going to be sewing where the zippers are on each end of your lining fabric. Alright, so get both sides all clipped up, and then we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch around these corners, making sure that you backstitch. Alright, so we have gotten our lining all stitched in. Again, I only stitched it where that zipper was. We need all of this open. And I hope you backstitched because we're going to be turning this inside out. Alright, so now we're going to turn it inside out. You're going to want to poke those corners out where your zipper is. And we're just kind of turning it through the sides. Now take your finger and kind of poke where those peaks were. I'm going to do that on both sides. Okay. Then you're going to want to try and make it lay flat as you can. Hopefully my head's not in the shot, so I'm not covering everything up. Okay, so here is what I personally like to do. I found that putting everything together was so much easier when I did this. So you're going to basically top stitch where your zipper is, but I keep going, and basically, essentially, I'm going to base stitch all the way around this thing. It really helps when I go to do the next couple of steps to have this all basted in place, because you're going to be, folding this all up, and your lining and your upper fabric is just going to kind of be moving all over the place. So I really like to baste all the way around. That way it doesn't move or go anywhere or do anything weird while I'm doing it. I'm going to extend my stitches to a 4, and then I'm going to go ahead and just completely sew all the way around this. Alright, so as you can see, I have base stitched all the way around. These are nice, like one piece to work with. So much easier doing it this way than trying to keep them separated from each other. So next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to grab 2 pieces of 4 by 3 pieces of fabric. Make sure to interface these because they're going to be pulled on a lot as you're opening your zipper and zipping it back up. Basically what I did was I took, when it goes 4 across this way, I folded it in half and then folded it in on itself. And then I stitched all the way around it. These are going to make your little tabs so that you can hang on to them when you're zipping and unzipping your zipper. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find the center right here, and then you're going to clip that tab in place, and you're going to do that on both sides so that it looks like that. You've got both of your little tabs basted in place, and they're not going to move around while you're trying to do the next step. Okay, this is the next step. This is kind of the hardest step to do, but you can do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of fold this down, and you're going to clip it. Now your zipper should come to the center, and you're going to kind of have to finagle it when you're sewing across here. You're going to kind of, so it's not going like this and the other zipper is kind of going over top of it. You're going to have to kind of bend it down and stitch right there. We're going to base stitch this in place. So what you're going to do is just fold the other side down. We're going to do this on both sides. And it's going to be so much easier on one side. The other side, you're going to have to put the zipper on, and it's not going to be so easy. So enjoy this part. So I'm just going to use some clips and see if I can get it to stay as straight as I can until I go to sew it. When I go to sew it, I'll make sure that these are pointing down, and kind of the zipper teeth need to be laying next to each other, kind of like that. There. I'm probably going to pop some clips. Alright, next side, not so much fun. Next side, you're going to have to add your zipper. Now, off camera, I could probably put a zipper on in a heartbeat, but on camera, for some reason. Alright, so we're going to be backwards. So I've got my zipper teeth right here. Got my zipper tape. It's going to be upside down. It's not going to be facing you. It's going to be upside down. You're going to see the bottom of it. We're going to put the left side in a little bit, and then the right side in a little bit. Now, if it's giving you trouble with it being wide open like that, I just put a clip there to kind of hold them together. I think that's what the holdup was. It was not going together because it was, the body of it was trying to fly away from itself. And so I was having a hard time getting the zipper in. I think the zipper end is just not wanting to go today. Why are you being a butt? I could just get a zipper jig and call it a day. Alright, there. Finally. You're so annoying. Alright. There we go. So we're going to kind of zip it down like that to get it out of our way. Next thing you're going to want to do is so you've got your kind of center here with your little tab. So your zipper is going to have to go right on top of that zipper tab. And like I said, it's a little bit more difficult with the zipper on this side. So I normally just start from my corners and kind of work my way in. This side, you're really going to want to put a lot of clips because it's going to want to pop out of this shape because of that zipper pull. So just clip like a crazy person. Okay. Whoops. There we go. There's another one. Another one bites the dust. Okay. When I sew this side, I normally kind of make sure that it's bent, and then I'll sew down here, get to the middle, and then kind of turn it. Because of the zipper tape being on there, it's going to want to fold in on itself. I thought this would be a little bit easier to do it together. Alright, so we're going to go in about 1/4 of an inch. And I have my stitch length to a 4. I'm going to make sure that I back stitch. And I wish I could get my hand out of the way. Okay, now we're going to start turning this a little bit. And it's going to get thick where that tab is. We did it. We did it. You just want to make sure that you have caught your zipper tape and that it's still as centered as you can get it. Let's do the other side. This side is so much easier and I love this side so much. Alright, so we're going to take our piece, the 6-inch side, we're going to fold that together. So we have our 8.5 this way, and then we're just folding it the 6 inches that way. We're going to sew down both sides. Alright, now that you've got both ends done, what I like to do is I like to clip off those corners just to kind of get the bulk out of the way. And then you're going to turn that inside out, making sure that you poke those corners. So they lay nice and flat. And then you're going to want to sew around. Now, I don't mess with the open bottom part. You can base stitch it closed if you like, but I normally just kind of go around the edges. Alright, now that we got everything all sewn, all top stitched, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the body. And on the back, where the lining is, you're going to put one of those flaps down here. And I forgot to mention, when you're sewing the edges, you're going to do 1/4 of an inch, and then when you're sewing around, doing the top stitching, you're going to want to do like 1/8 of an inch or so. Then what you're going to do is we're going to put it lining to lining, and then I'm just going to kind of sew 1/4 of an inch in, right where we've already kind of sewn when we were closing it. We're going to sew that again so that that piece is attached. And you guys see that I'm doing the easy side first, right? Now, once you get that done, and I would suggest doing one side at a time, you're going to take this flap. Now that you've got it sewn, you're going to fold it up like that, and then you're going to come over and kind of like you would do like a binding, you're just going to kind of fold that over. Now again, if you're using a domestic, do not use waterproof canvas, because this is the part where it's going to get really, really thick. So next thing we're going to do is because we put the flap over so that it covers up our stitches right there. So we put this over there, and you're going to sew in, kind of stitching in the ditch. If you want to, you can actually kind of do it on the back side so that you make sure that you're stitching in the ditch, but it's up to you. If you want to sew on top, that's fine, but you need to do that to both sides and you're almost done. Let's try stitching in the ditch this way and see how it does. She's thick. She's so thick. Okay. Now, when you're doing the other side, don't do it upside down like that. Okay? You want to be able to see what you're doing, because you're going to have your zipper and all, and it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to do that step. So make sure that you do it the right side up so that you can see what you're doing. Clean up your threads, and then let's do the other side. Alright, so we're on the zipper side. Yay, this is going to be so much fun. Lining to lining, so you got your little flap here. Now what we're going to do is, again, doing it 1/4 of an inch all the way across. Just like we did before, I need to move my zipper up out of the way a little bit. And then just take your time, because you don't want to hit your zipper. Just like we did with the other side, you're going to want to take this flap up and over and clip it in place so that it stays flapped over. And then we're going to sew from the top on this one. We're just going to kind of feel out our 1/4 of an inch here. Now she's going to get thick. If you do want to use waterproof canvas, go for it. But it's going to get thick. So I am going to take my little key fob thing. Oh, and I'm just going to smush down that corner right where I'm going to be starting. And I would definitely recommend going slow, just getting started. Oh, there goes another clip. Good night. Alright, so this is the part where you really need to watch out for that zipper. You want to keep this fabric out of the way, but you also want to keep your zipper out of the way because you don't want to accidentally hit your zipper. Because that would not be cool. You'd break a needle and poke your eye out. I'm just going nice and slow. I am not in a rush. So all of the raw edges are nice and encased now, and it just gives it a really finished look, a good finished look. Alright, so I'm going to cut my threads and burn the edges and everything, and then we'll do the last step. Alright, so you got your little flaps all done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this inside out. I like to get my little corners out first, just because those seem to be the hardest to like get completely straight. And then as you're turning it inside out. Alright. Okay. Now you can straighten it out. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. We're almost done. Alright. So here's another hard part. I know that's what you wanted to hear. You're like, dang it, Faye. Alright. So, our flaps. Where you're going to have to attach the flaps. And again, I picked black as a lining because that's completely easy to see. Alright. Oh my Lanta. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of finger these so that you can clip them, but I don't think they're going to stay. I've never had a lot of success with clipping and having everything stay where it's supposed to stay. It just doesn't want to. But you can try it. But the idea is that we need to get this little piece right here as flat as we can, so that when it closes up, it'll go inside of that. So I'm happy with that. Now what you're going to do is on the inside, and I like doing it from the inside, making sure that your bobbin is the color of your outside fabric. I am just going to do a little stitch, like a little stay stitch, just so that it's there, and that flap will stay where I put it. So let's go over here. Okay, hopefully you can see it. If not, let's try. I'll just put you in my face, that's fine. That way you can see. Alright, so hang on to your tails so they don't bunch up and we can actually pull those back through. And we're just going to do a couple stitches forward, a couple stitches back. Alright, so that's one side. I'm going to unclip that and just hang on to it with my hand so it doesn't go anywhere. Pivot. Alright, there we go. We're in. Not as far back as I would like to be. Alright, I'm hanging on to my tail. The tail of my thread so I can pull it through. Okay, now I'm going to pull my threads through to the lining so that I can burn them and have them be good. And then you're just going to need to do the other side the same way, and then you're done. Alright guys, so what did you think? It's a fairly easy sew. Again, make sure that you don't use waterproof canvas if you don't want it to get too thick on your domestic machine. I use waterproof canvas all the time, and it tends to not get too thick for me, but every now and then I do have to throw in a little tool. If things get a little too thick, you can always grab your little key fob tool, and then you can kind of take that and kind of squish whatever part is giving you a problem. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I hope to see the ones that you guys make. Don't forget that I am on Instagram if you want to tag me on some of the makes that you make. I would love to see the stuff that we've done in previous videos for you guys making them. So make sure that you tag me on Instagram. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. Or if you want to subscribe and see some of the other stuff, fun stuff coming up. I'm trying to work on one that has pockets, and that's kind of like a circular one. Have you guys seen those? They're circular, and I want it to be able to have pockets and kind of a pull string situation. I'm working on it. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. If you have any questions, comments, leave those in the comment section down below, and I do check those daily. Thanks for joining us again on Faith Works Designs. Bye, guys.